I think I'll address the elephant in the room that I'm not Max. If you look on the brochure, he is on the speak note today. Max actually was going to come join us. So Max is our UK sales director. He's recently joined Voyado from Nosto. And the plan was to have a bit of a panel discussion and talk about loyalty and personalisation. So I had a day to put this together, but I did think about maybe I could interview myself, but I think that would be maybe a bit narcissistic and also a little bit boring as well. So instead, I'm going to talk about some of our favourite customers and go through those case studies in a little bit more detail. And then also give a quick overview of Voyado if any of you guys have heard of us before. So Voyado, we have 2 products, so there's quite a big breadth of what we do in terms of 2 products in marketing automation with loyalty, and then also search on site, so search, product recommendations and merchandising. But the way I like to look at it is that we just love the customer journey end to end, so all the way from acquiring customers to ensuring that we retain them with loyalty, and then also discovery and personalisation on site. So yeah, we're really obsessed with the customer journey. But the product itself, so if we look at the first product, which is our marketing automation and loyalty platform, this is really picking into how we initially acquire those customers, so whether that's in-store or online. How are we helping our retailers actually make that a little bit more of a personalised experience? And then we are the CDP as well, that takes in that data as well, so we have a better breadth of who that customer is, and that allows us to help our retailers really work through deeper segmentation and better marketing off the back of it as well. And then in terms of the on-site experience, so this is in terms of, as I say, product recommendations, merchandising, and then also discovery on site. We're able to then really categorise how a customer from a relevancy perspective comes on site and sees relevant products. The beauty in this is when you bring both platforms together at once. So we have the CDP, marketing automation, but then also the search as well. So we can see the historical CDP data, what that customer was previously purchasing, and marry that with on-site behaviour. So when your customers are on site, there's a big amount of data or touch points that they're having with your brand. We're able to collate that and feed that back into the marketing automation. So that was my elevator pitch. Hopefully, I mean, you've had a lot of pitches today, so hopefully I've kept that nice and short and sweet for you. What I really want to talk about actually is 3 of our key customers. I'm going to break that down in terms of loyalty, search intent, and then actually the power of customer experience. So the first topic I'm going to talk about is loyalty. If I'm completely honest with you, loyalty has probably been one of the biggest drivers for us in the last 2 years in the UK. What I haven't mentioned is that Voyado is a Swedish company, so we're quite new to the UK. We've been in the market for about 3 years, and I would say about 50% of the inquiries that we have is on loyalty, and it's a big buzzword in the industry at the moment. And the reason being that we know that 5% of more customers are more likely to repurchase, and loyal customers are 5% more likely to repurchase, and they're also 4% more likely to refer your brand to a friend or a family member. We also know that they spend more, so they actually come back and repeat purchase means that 67% are more likely to purchase with you. And then I think importantly as well, there's that emotional aspect. So there's 7% more likely to forgive a mistake. If you've ever had a bad experience with a brand that you've never shopped at before, you're probably not very likely to go back there. But if you've had a bad experience with your favourite brand, then actually you're more than likely to forgive them. But one of my favourite examples is Nudie Jeans. So Nudie Jeans is a Swedish customer of ours. They are in the UK. They have a few shops in London. I really advise that you go down and see their stores. But what I love about Nudie Jeans is especially their attempt at loyalty initially actually came from GDPR. So they won't mind me saying this, but when GDPR first became, I guess, an issue for many brands in Europe, they actually realised that overnight they're probably going to lose their database, and they need to quite quickly understand how they can get customers to consent to being in their database. So actually off the back of that incentive, they decided to build out a repairs model. And this repair model means that you can bring in your faulty jeans at any point throughout your lifetime with Nudie Jeans, and they'll give you free repairs for life. Off the back of that, they're also then able to give you a discount. So say, for example, you want to switch out your jeans, they'll incentivize you. So this is then allowed to connect with their customer, so they have more of an emotional stance. I know that I can forever now go into Nudie Jeans and repair a pair of jeans. Moving on to another aspect of the customer journey, which is search. And this one fascinates me because search, I think, is probably one of the most overlooked areas of e-commerce. I think in terms of people who are searching for something on your site, they're the most intentful buyers. So if someone is looking for something, they're the most likely to convert. So 2 to 3% higher conversion if you are looking for something on site. So we really want to tap into those customers. But sadly, I think a lot of brands get this wrong, where they often see search as a utility. They don't necessarily see it as something that they need to optimize. And that can have a significant, I guess, effect in terms of poor performance. So you can see no handling of misspelling or synonyms. I said it wrong, synonyms. I was going to say to my boyfriend last night, there's one word, if there's any fellow dyslexics in the room, that I'm going to struggle with, and it's synonyms. But yeah, so moving on. I also see that there's static results with no merchandising strategy, and then a lack of personalisation or relevance or inspiration. One of our examples is H&M. I'd say they're our biggest customer. And H&M has been a long-standing customer of Voyado. They've recently become minority shareholders in the company, so it gives me something great to talk about, but also it really shows you how much they see the investment in Voyado and that relationship growing. So one thing that they do really well is use our product feature called Slices. So they're able to not just work with the marketing team and their merchandising team to create really amazing campaigns, but they can also feed into the AI as well to ensure that they can see more dynamic content, so what's back in stock or what products are trending, for instance, which is all based on the relevancy of the users on site. So they're able to see a really dynamic and personalised experience, which I think really brings more of a, when you look at search, more of a journey and more of an inspirational site experience as well. Okay, I've got one more slide, so I've rushed through this in about 5 minutes as opposed to 30. So I'm going to take a second to kind of go through one of my final examples, and actually one of my favourite examples, which is Ellis Brigham. So Ellis Brigham is a UK customer. They had a really big digital transformation a few years ago, so they went through a big re-platform. You've mentioned or seen C2 in the room as well today. C2, they've recently rolled out from an Omni perspective, so they have C2 now powering all of their in-store experience as well. But alongside this, why I really like this example is because they are utilising Voyado for both products. So we have the CRM, the CDP, loyalty, and then also the on-site recommendations as well. So within this experience, they're able to really identify who their customers are in store, acquire those customers either online or in store, and then tailor those catalogue and that experience to their customers. So, I mean, hands up who skis here or who's been into Ellis Brigham before, if any of you guys are customers. And I think that lifestyle or that life experience with ski boots, or what is it, ski boots that you would buy, or what's your kind of product that you've... Jacket. A jacket, okay. So, for example, you wouldn't typically replace that jacket, I guess, every year or so, right? So, so what I think is awesome around this experience is that they can really understand when you might need to replace that coat by understanding the customer lifetime of that jacket. But yeah, it gives you a full view of the customer experience. So our mission at Voyado is to become the most lovable or beloved partner to retailers in Europe. We're a Nordic company and we are looking to move out into new markets. So if you have any questions or you'd like to learn more about us, then please do reach out. I've given myself a lot of time for questions, so if anybody has any questions.
Let's hope so. Come on, put your arms up, everybody. There we go.
Are there any customer journeys outside of your own business experiences that come to mind as, you know, good examples that are like a bit more broad, maybe?
Yeah, for us specifically, so our customers predominantly are retail. We're fascinated with retail and B2C predominantly, so we don't really specialise in the B2C world. There are some amazing platforms out there that do. From a customer experience or a personal, to answer that personally in terms of my kind of bad examples I've seen in terms of loyalty is a really good one. I think, as I say, we're all talking about it at the moment, but we're seeing very different ways of brands trying to incorporate it. There are a few examples. You might see personalisation or quizzes that we're seeing on site to, again, acquire customers. And one example is that we'll see with brands putting in a spin the wheel, where they will basically offer a customer 20% off if they sign it to SMS, and that's a different way of communicating to that brand. But I think it's hit and miss. It really depends on the brand itself, and when we consult our retailers and, you know, the brands that we work with, it depends on that customer journey. Because for me, I don't like to be given a text every 5 minutes to say, hey, have 5% off or 10% off. I actually want real value delivered to me for the product that I'm looking at. So yeah, there's some good examples and often bad examples for loyalty.
Thank you.
Hi, you know when you were saying about utilising site search, would you, to be able to do that, would you say if someone would say land on like a home page or a landing page to have the search kind of quite prominent then I guess above the fold straight away to encourage someone?
Absolutely, and I think that's where personalisation becomes quite integral. So depending on who that customer is, right, and I think somebody earlier made a really good point around displaying products that you've already bought. So I think relevancy becomes integral to ensuring that that experience is adequate for that consumer. I do think there's that debate around merchandising and what you want your customers to see. And I think one thing we see with AI as well, where this topic of letting the product do its thing, that often takes a lot of trust to allow your teams to actually believe in the merchandising and having the logic behind that. So yeah, again, I think it depends on the retailer particularly, but I think you want to understand that customer journey and map it out in a way that's going to be more fruitful for your particular use case, depending on who your customers are. Cool. We actually have Emily coming on for public speaking course as well, so I'm looking forward to tapping into that one.
Thank you very much.